Welcome, Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, to your December 2025 astrology horoscope. I do recommend that you listen to these videos according to your rising sign first, as your rising sign is what sets up your entire birth chart and what will determine where this transiting energy falls for you in your actual physical life, what area of life these things will be showing up for you. Listening for your sun sign is more of an indicator of what you might be feeling more in your career space. And then listening for your moon sign might be a more of an indication of what you're feeling at home or in your more internal emotional space. I do recommend listening to all three and kind of blending the energies together to get the most holistic view for yourself. But if you only have time or interest in listening to one, I do recommend listening to your rising sign first. I also highly recommend listening to the December forecast that I did collectively. I'll link it right here. Because I do go into the Sabian symbols for Neptune, Pluto, and Chiron, as those three planets are not moving more than 1 degree during the entire month. And when a planet stays in the same degree, I really think that it's trying to have us get the gist, get the idea of what it's trying to express and what it wants us to learn about that particular degree. And if you go and listen, it is quite mind-blowing and fascinating how well these three Sabian symbols discuss what we are and put into words what I feel we are all feeling collectively and going through right now. So it's really just fascinating. So I highly recommend you do that. Otherwise, I will go over all the astrology of this month, all the important bigger picture pieces of the astrology. But for now, just a little bit about me. I'm Sarah at Life with Training Wheels, where I utilize Western Tropical Zodiac Astrology, whole sign house system, and other tools to help guide you on your journey of self-discovery and self-empowerment. My goal is to help you realize that life really is a choose-your-own adventure. You have more control over your life and your thoughts than you think you do, and we really do make this world our reality. One of my favorite quotes is, "Wherever you go, there you are." So if you keep finding yourself in certain situations, good or bad, it may be a time to look into the mirror. If that sounds like something you want to stick around for, a vibe that you can vibe with, then I encourage you to stick around. If this is your first time finding me, thank you for joining me, and I hope you'll stay. If you are returning, thank you so much for returning. Either way, if you could go ahead and engage with this video in some way, like, subscribe, comment, anything like that, it will help my tiny channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we dive into the astrology this month. I do currently have a Your First Astrology course going on right now. It is a 6-week course. I have released the first week video. I am working on editing the second week's video. But basically, I take you from zero, from not knowing how to pull up a birth chart, and walking you through that, and walking you through a couple astrology tools that I use that are free to use, and then explain, the setup of a birth chart, the chart layout, the house system. We'll get into the signs and the planets and understanding your big three, your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon sign. And then finally learning how to take horoscopes like the ones I give here and like many other astrologers give, and how to take your natal chart and really see more layers of how the energy is interacting with your chart on a more personal level. So that course is going on now. It is delivered via email, and you can ask any questions after each week is delivered, each video is delivered, and I really want to make this course yours, so I would love to have you join me. The information for that is in the description box below. I also am starting up a Patreon membership that would be basically a getting to know yourself monthly membership, where I will teach an astrology topic, teach something about the natal chart and how to read it every month. So not only will it be a learning astrology, but then learning about yourself, because I will teach on a topic and then give a 20-minute personal astrology reading for each person in the course or in the Patreon membership each month, according to whatever topic we are discussing that month. So it's like a monthly learning astrology and learning yourself better through astrology membership. If you're interested in joining, the link will be in the description box below for that as well. And although this was a Black Friday deal, I am going to extend it through the month of December, where I will give $25 off of any service I offer on my website if you sign up for my newsletter. I have not really started sending out my new newsletters yet, but I do plan on sending out like weekly astrology, weekly horoscopes, as well as anything else going on any of my YouTube channels, or anything else that I feel might be of value or interest to you. It would only be going out weekly at max, perhaps monthly to start. But if you would like to sign up for that, please do so in the description box below. I would love to have you join my newsletter. Now let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I have your chart up on the screen here. So like I said, we're just going to get right into the astrology. So the first thing I want to talk about is how we are continuing the Grand Water Trine that we had last month for the first half of this month. So for you, this Grand Water Trine is right here, sitting in your financial houses, basically 10th house, 6th house, and 2nd house. These are definitely the financial houses, the work houses. There are other financial houses as well, but these are mostly the work houses. So 2nd house is our money. It is our finances, our resources, kind of what we do with the money that we earn. 2nd house can indicate how we earn money. 6th house is the house of daily habits, health, and work, how we serve others, how we approach our work. And 10th house is the house of our career and public reputation. So you're going to continue to feel a lot of the energy and a lot of the luck and abundance and just busyness. You're going to feel a lot of undercurrents in these financial houses. In November, it may have felt like there was a lot going on here, but maybe things weren't quite manifesting yet. You could feel kind of the water flowing, but maybe could feel some opportunities coming, but nothing was quite manifesting yet. We are going to be continuing that energy a little bit throughout the first half of this month. We'll talk about it a little bit later. There should be a little bit of more forward movement with these planets in Sagittarius, but right now we're just going to focus on this Grand Water Trine. last month, what kept this Grand Water Trine going was all the parade of personal planets going through Scorpio. Well, this month we just have Mercury going through Scorpio, finishing its path. Mercury is the mind, right? It's our communication. It's how we think about things, how we communicate about things. And Scorpio wants to go deep, right? So you don't want anything surface level or anything like that in your daily habits, routines, your work. Like, you kind of like to go deep with it. And Mercury here is helping you dive deep into, what your daily habits and routines are, if there's any shifts or anything that needs to come in. You're having more serious conversations at work, perhaps, or even at home regarding your daily routine, or just more serious thought processes around what you can do or what you need to do in your routines and everything. And then 10th house, in your house of career, you might be more figuring out how to have your career and your daily habits and routines more spiritually aligned, supporting you and making sure that these areas are aligned with who you are now, who you're trying to be. And you might be, in the 10th house, really working on this Neptune, dreaming what you really want, what you really love into existence, maybe tearing down old structures, old belief systems that you've had surrounding work, maybe tearing down unhealthy walls that you've had around work, and building up new healthy boundaries. And then with Jupiter here in your 2nd house, bringing you opportunities and abundance and luck and growth, there could be a lot of growth or just busyness that it is bringing to your daily habits, routines, or how you serve others. Perhaps 6th house is also pets. Perhaps this could be bringing you a pet, but it also could be just bringing new, either money in and of itself, or resources, or things like that, or opportunities for new ways to make money, things of that nature, or new resources for you to be able to use in your work that are gonna, really help you out there. Those types of things are continuing to go on with this Grand Water Trine through the first half of the month. Now, Jupiter is playing a big role in December. Not only, so with this Grand Water Trine, the most potent part of it is this continuous near exact trine that Jupiter will have to Saturn all month long. So this is near exact, so it's very potent energy, a good time to really capitalize on the blessings and abundance that this is trying to bring to you. And earlier in the year, Jupiter and Saturn were like at odds with each other. They were in a square. That's kind of when there's this tension. They aren't working together. Jupiter wants to expand. Saturn wants to slow down. Well, now they're in a trine, so they're working together. Although they're still going slow because Jupiter is still retrograde, but whatever Jupiter touches, it expands. It wants to grow. It wants to bring luck. It wants to bring opportunity. Now, with this being retrograde, the opportunities it might be bringing might be things that have like opportunities that are coming back around that you may have missed in the past. So keep your eyes open for that you have another chance to work with and to capitalize on this time. But it's going slow. It also wants you to move forward in your career, right? They're working together to help you move forward and take making sure that things are aligned, and take the opportunities and build them slowly. If Jupiter wasn't retrograde, it would be more of a go, 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 let's build this kind of fast. But with Jupiter being retrograde, it is kind of like, here's new opportunities, but let's really make sure that they are aligned with who you are now, that they are what you want, and let's build on them slowly so they have a strong foundation. So that is what that energy is. The other Jupiter energy is this continuous square to Chiron and Aries all month long. And this square started last month, but it is continuing all month long, giving us a month worth of healing opportunities for our Chiron, our wounded healer. So Chiron, the wounded healer, is in Aries, which is kind of this I am energy, right? So this is where we have kept ourselves small or something like that for the sake of others. And for you being in your 11th house, this is probably a wound around keeping yourself small for your friendship groups or for the other groups that you belong in. So think like soccer or something like that. And this could be where you've kept yourself small so that maybe other players had opportunities to start or something like that, right? Or just in your friend group, maybe you kind of have hidden in the background and haven't really been seen or heard or something like that. Well, all month long you're being given an opportunity to really work and heal this area of your life, and to start to figure out how to be seen, how to be heard, how to be accepted for all that you are, and be comfortable in that. Be comfortable in your own skin, in your friend groups, and the groups that you belong to. And a lot of this healing opportunity will come here from your second house of your value system, of your resources. And it could be perhaps that as your personal values and as you learn to value yourself more, you're learning that maybe some friendship groups or things like that just don't align. They don't align with your value system, which could be why this is felt as a square, right? That could be an uncomfortable feeling, realizing that some of the friendships that you have might no longer fit with who you are, or maybe some of the organizations that you've been involved with or donated to or things like that don't align with your new value system and who you're becoming. And this is really beautiful, I think, because all month long we're getting a chance to heal this wound, to be comfortable in our own skin, before Saturn and Neptune come to re-enter Aries, where they will stay for their remaining cycles. So Saturn will be here for 2.5 years. Neptune will be here for another 7 years. But collectively, as these planets move here, Jupiter moves here, Pluto continues in Aquarius, and where am I looking? And Uranus will move here as all these outer planets move next year into their new cycles. Like, we really are birthing this new collective, which I'll talk about in a minute. And kind of where your, Aries, 0 point Aries is the beginning of the chart. So this is where you are going to be making your mark and really birthing the new you. So you're getting a chance this month to really heal that energy. So the new you is kind of going to be in this friendship group, you're going to align with your soul tribe, basically, and make a big difference and a big impact in the world like that, this is also 11th house can be humanitarian efforts, so that might be something. 11th house can also be where we get the fruits of the labor we put into our work and career. So it could be that you know, are really abundant starting next year and continuing forward. So that could be a new you is kind of helping out the world collectively with learning how to be abundant. So that to me is exciting, that we're getting the chance to work with this energy. And although it might feel a little rocky because of the square, Jupiter squares usually are felt pretty easy, and we're being given the opportunity to heal this wound before a lot of our energy is concentrated there, which I think is just beautiful, the way the astrology sets us up that way, right? It's really helping us. So then the other thing with this, with the planets here, is with this Neptune. This Neptune is in a pretty much exact sextile to Uranus all month long, but particularly the first half of the month before Neptune stations direct on the 10th. The energy will still be strong after the 10th, but the energy will start to get a little bit further away, but not by much. But the reason why I want to discuss this in particular, so this sextile between these two planets was exact November 20th, and I have a 3-part series, short series, that I'll link right here that talks about the history of these. But from the period of 500 BC to 2500 AD, there has only been 18 times that these two planets have come together in a sextile in these two signs. So that's a big deal. That's not that many times in that big of a history. And then when I look to see how many times they've come together, both being retrograde, it has only happened twice before. Once in 598 and the other in 1853. So it's like a once in a century sextile. And for all 18 times when these planets have come together, they have marked times when the collective consciousness is rewriting itself, when the world has been pivoting toward a new mystical or technological direction. Spiritual revolutions have arisen during these times, financial systems were reshaping, and technological leaps were occurring, which we can all feel this energy going on beneath the surface, right? And then this retrograde to retrograde period marks more of an internal rewiring of the collective, not yet the outward expression, right? Because retrograde energy brings the energy internally. So we're kind of at this phase, and I think we felt it in November too, that just the rumblings of everything changing, everything all at once is going on and shifting and collapsing, and it's overwhelming. And it felt like there was really no movement in that in November, but now we're starting to see that movement. But this is fascinating just because it is such a rare energy. So I wanted to focus on it so that we could consciously work with, because sextiles, they do provide opportunities, but to really make the most of them, you need to consciously work with them. So I wanted to bring them to our attention so we can do just that. The other thing, before I go into what this means for your sign, I just wanted to talk about this mini Grand Trine overall as well. Between all the outer planets, I've been calling it the divine mini Grand Trine, right? So it's Pluto, Neptune and Saturn, and Uranus, and these are all the like more collective planets, right? Like the movements of these planets signify kind of what's going on more in the collective rather than internally felt with the personal planets. They do make an impact on you personally too, but it's more of a slow moving energy, and it does tend to mark big cultural shifts. But what's fascinating to me is when I didn't look to see when this mini Grand Trine exactly started, but it's going to be hanging on with us through 2029. And I think that's a big deal. It's going to be humming in the background all the way up to 2029. The only time when one of these legs gets far enough apart where it falls out of what you consider the orb of influence for like a 2-month time period in the fall of 2027, 2028, and 2029. And I think at the end of 2029 is when it starts kind of separating all of the sides. But so this energy will be working with us for a long time period. So all the chaos that's going on in the world right now, we are going to continue to be supported to move it in the correct, divine, feel-good energy, right, with this trine. We're being guided and watched over and looked after, I feel very strongly, and that this is kind of an indication of God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, saying, I've got you. But so let's figure out how you can work with this energy in particular. So this is affecting you in your 12th house and 10th house. So this is kind of where your subconscious and your careers dissolve and rebuild. So how this might manifest is maybe like a more invisible internal awakening, spiritual catalyst towards new career paths, old fears of failure dissolving for you, which is really exciting, and then psychic or intuitive dreams. So the best way to consciously work with this energy would be to release any old identities you have surrounding your career. Allow your calling to reveal itself. Don't necessarily force it, but just allow it to show up. And practice dream journaling and quiet time. And like maybe a great time to develop a meditation practice if you haven't, or tapping into more psychic awareness, like maybe automatic writing or learning how to channel or something like that could be good for you to consciously work with this. Learning how to talk to your spirit guides, things like that. So then we kind of talked about how, the energy felt stagnant last month. Well, we should start to see some forward momentum on things and feel like we can start getting ahead and seeing that we can get ahead with some things, because number one, at the end of the month, last month, November, we had Saturn and Mercury station direct. December 10th, we have Neptune stationing direct. And then as well, we now have all these planets in Sagittarius in the fire sign. Fire signs help us get things moving. They help us progress forward, right? They want movement. They want to go, go, go. So we are being helped in acting upon things now. And for you in particular, this is lighting up your Sagittarius season, is lighting up your 7th house. So your house of relationships. These can be one-to-one relationships, business partnerships, best friendships, things like that. As well as this is the house of open enemies. So think, ex-business partners, ex-friends, or ex-spouses, things of that nature. But as these planets parade through as well, they are going to be helping us figure out how to make forward momentum on the energy that was going on with this Grand Water Trine, because as they near the end of Sagittarius, they are going to be making a square to Saturn and Neptune over here in your 10th house. So you may feel some tension off and on all month long between your 7th house of partnerships and your career. And that could be things falling away, right? Kind of as we discussed, new opportunities coming up that you have to act on, things like that. But so as Mercury, or the first one is going to be Mars, making the square, and Mars can be kind of more tension, right? Mars, that energy is often felt a little more harshly. It can be, like outbursts of anger or things like that, but it also is a lot of motivation. So maybe you're really feeling motivated to find the right partner to partner with in your 10th house, right? Maybe there's something that comes up that gives you the motivation, like, I've got to do this now. Then the sun, when the sun comes to make this square, the sun can be our ego, so you might feel a little like abrasiveness to your ego in your partnerships or in your career or something like that. But the sun also brings light to a situation, so you might see an opportunity arise, or you might see, that something doesn't feel right, and like you finally see it, so now you can finally do something about it. Venus, hopefully, Venus is a benefic planet, so the squares aren't felt so hard. So maybe there's an opportunity, a financial opportunity, or a business partnership opportunity, or maybe just bringing some compassion and grace to these two areas of your life. And then when Mercury finally comes to make the square, the Mercury is our mind and our communication. So I feel like when Mercury finally gets here, it might be those hard conversations that you need to have about maybe quitting, or letting somebody go, or something along those lines. But it's going to be providing the clarity that you need in your mind, and communication if that needs to happen, as well as, Mercury is very detail oriented, so it could just be that you're figuring out what your next plan of attack is, figuring out what you need to do and kind of mapping it out so that you know how you need to move forward. That could be that energy as well. So we're really gonna, with it squaring this energy and then us healing this energy, I really think that we're being set up to enter 2026 on a more healed, more prepared fashion, because 2026 is going to be pretty wild, and a lot of forward momentum with putting some of these things into reality. The only other two things I want to talk about are December 4th. So a few days ago, we had a full moon in your sign. So if you have not watched my full moon video, I'll link it here. I do go into it by sign, so you can kind of listen to it in hindsight and see how it manifested for you, and comment on that video with how it manifested for you. That would be super cool. And then later in the month, December 19th, we will be having a new moon in Sagittarius. So new moons bring new opportunities for growth. They're a good place for you to set new goals and things like that. So that'll be happening for you in your 7th house with all this other energy going on. So that will be pretty cool. So that is pretty much it for your December astrology forecast. Comment below with how you're feeling this energy, if you're excited to kind of get things moving a little bit more, just overall, yeah, how you're doing so far this month, as we are now 8 days in. I would love to hear, and any way that you can engage with this video, it will help my tiny channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it and appreciate you for it. And I look forward to seeing you back here for the new moon video, as well as for next month's monthly overview. Until then, have a wonderful December.